What a time to be alive. Hello friends, welcome to a different kind of video. And I'm in Atlantic City, New Jersey, known as the Las Vegas of the East Coast. I am parked, by the way. Why is Sheila in Atlantic City, you may ask? Great question. Looks around to see if anybody in their house is staring at me. I am in AC because George has a work event happening at the Hard Rock Hotel, and I decided to tag along because who doesn't love a random work trip out of town? So I thought it was the perfect opportunity for me to get a mini getaway, a spring break, if you will, which I definitely am excited about because work's been busy during this like winter to spring transition. I've just been kind of feeling meh, so I'm hoping to get kind of reset or re-inspired about, you know, spring, summer. And I feel like going on a trip, getting out, even if it's like a day trip, always helps me kind of recalibrate in a way. So those are my intentions. I will be pretty much solo today. George has a packed itinerary and I have my own little game plan as well. So I've parked up and I found a bookstore. It's an antique shop and bookstore. It's called Princeton Antiques and it's on Atlantic Avenue. I parked on a side street for free parking, just a travel tip. Somebody just walked by and I'm like, oh no. So we're here on a weekday and it's like not summer. I've only really been to AC like when it's peak summertime and it's very busy, very hot. So being here at the end of March is kind of weird, but it's also nice because it's not as busy. Parking's a lot more easier to find. Free parking is easier to find kind of on side streets. So that is my plan, at least until I can check into the hotel. So George has to go do some work stuff until like 12:30 and he gets a lunch break and then he can check into the hotel room. So I have plans of going to this bookstore, checking into the hotel, probably hanging out at the hotel the majority of this video, but I also kind of want to walk around the boardwalk, the casinos. That is what AC is known for. I'm not a gambler. I will probably play some slot machines. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of do a 24-hour reading vlog in Atlantic City because I've been in a reading rut. I don't know. I just haven't been excited about picking up my books and reading all the time. And I think that's just with this time of the year. I just personally am more focused on other things than picking up a book. And I've also been reading really long books. I will talk about the books that I want to read when I get into the hotel and not in the car right now. And maybe I'll find a book at the bookstore that will kind of get me excited and maybe we can read that. I brought some books that I have not even started reading yet. I kind of put my other books on hold. So I'm hoping to at least read one of those books within this period. And yeah, so I'm hoping the bookstore's open because, okay, they open at 9 a.m. So they've been open for a few hours. Good. So let's go to the bookstore, friend. I've pulled into the parking garage and I thought I'd start my 24-hour time clock. I thought I'd clock in. It's 12:30 p.m. So 24 hours be by tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. I want to try and read 2 books. We'll see how that goes. I have 2 other books that I brought with me that I'm hoping to read. Well, they're kind of options. So now I have like 3 options. And I bought Barn Blind by Jane Smiley from the used bookstore, which they gave me a cute little card. I had a nice little chat with the, I don't think he's the owner, but I think his father owns the bookshop. So it was kind of like the son and then his son. So it's a very multi-generational family-run business. But we were chatting. He wanted to look at my tote bag and I was like, oh, you can search it. Like he thought I was like putting books in my bag, and he's like, oh no, I don't want to look through it. I want to look at it. Like he was interested in the print, which it's Waterstones, which is based in the UK, and he hadn't heard of it. And I said, it's basically the Barnes and Nobles of England, of the UK, and he thought that was interesting. And then he proceeded to tell me he is thinking of creating tote bags for the Princeton Antique Bookshop, and he wanted to put the Jane Austen peacock print on it, and I was like, that would be a great idea. I would buy it, even though I haven't read any Jane Austen yet, although I want to read some Jane Austen. I found a church record book, like just sitting on the shelf, which is kind of not a rare thing when you go into like these antique, like used bookstores. You're bound to find something that is archival and shouldn't be in a bookstore being sold. It should be in archives or a historical society. So I mentioned that to him. Like that was the first thing I kind of said to him, and he was like, he kind of just shook it off and didn't continue the conversation. But I don't know, hopefully another archivist will find that and take it to a good place. And nothing was like marked in terms of prices in there. I think when you just you give the person the book, they kind of just, you know, charge whatever on the fly. But I found this book. I haven't read any Jane Smiley. I do want to read, I think 1,000 Acres is what I want to read. It's like Jane Smiley, I believe, writes a lot of like American Midwestern literary fiction, and I've learned about the author from Sunbeam's Jess here on YouTube, who I've followed for many years. So I saw this and was like, well, I want to read Jane Smiley at some point, so I just decided to get it, and I'm gonna see if it is something that will hold my attention for this trip. It's 200 pages, so maybe, but I also have 2 other books that I'll share when I get into the hotel room. But yeah, I'm gonna at least try and read a few bits of this now that we've started our readathon at 12:30, and I'm just gonna wait for George to get on his lunch break so we can check into the hotel. Anybody up for a mini hotel tour? Here's the view when you walk in. Kind of dark room, and this is the bathroom, which I'll show first. Big bathroom. It's funny, I feel like all the hotels, at least, I don't know, maybe this is a standard thing, they all feel the same. Like George and I visited Atlantic City a few pre-pandemic, like 2019, and we stayed at Bally's, a different hotel chain, and this place just reminds me of that. Like the bathroom seems the same. Shower, toilet, room. So maybe it's all just kind of the same. Here's a closet. I've just hung up George's clothing for tonight. And we have 2 double beds, Beautiful view. TV. I didn't check in here. I assume the fridge is in here. Nope, that's not a fridge. It's the fridge in here. There's the fridge. Doesn't look like there's a microwave. Not like we need one. And I love that there's a desk in here. This is a pretty big desk too. Let me come over here actually. But yeah, big fan of the desk. I'm just gonna be hanging out here reading. I do need to edit my video that I want to get up tomorrow and just hanging out, you know, lounging before I get out on the town. I definitely have book reading updates because it's been a little while since I last checked in with you guys. So I read a chapter of Barn Blind while I was waiting for George to check into the hotel, and I mean, it's about farming the Midwest and horses equestrian, which is, I'm very interested in that. I want to read this, but I don't think it's the right vibe for AC. And I brought two books. One that I just started reading when I checked in, Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, which is a mystery novel with some true crime elements. And I've read, how many pages? I've read 40 pages so far, and I'm definitely gonna be sticking with this book versus this book. But it fits the vibe. We're in a hotel. It's a haunted motel. It takes place in upstate New York. There's two POVs. It jumps between times back to the 80s and 2017. Carly is our modern day character, and her aunt Vivian disappeared while working at the Sundown Motel in a fictional town called Fell, New York, in upstate New York, which is kind of a small town USA, not a lot going on there, and it's actually known for a lot of disappearances. Like, a lot of girls and women have disappeared in this town, and Carly has decided to leave college and go drive to Fell to kind of investigate her aunt's murder, because her mom recently died from cancer and nobody in her family really spoke about her aunt. The case was never solved. There was never really any effort. It just kind of became a cold case and was forgotten. But Carly wants to revive it and start her own little investigation, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm into it, and I'm gonna try and finish this by checkout time tomorrow. We'll see how that goes, because there's a total of 326 pages. It's definitely doable, like 300 pages, I think, in 24 hours if I'm really, you know, committed. And it's also quick-paced, short chapters. It's a thriller, you know, mystery type book, so it's definitely easier for me to read than some other books. So this I definitely want to read most of the time here. And I also brought a manga. I brought Spy X Family Volume 2 by Tatsuya Endo. I read the first volume a few months ago and quickly fell in love with the series, the characters, and I'm curious to see where it goes next. So I thought bringing a manga along would be good, because these are a lot quicker to read, and my attention span, like this whole month and like currently right now, is just like very hard to focus on reading and like sitting still. And obviously, like, I've traveled, I'm out of state, I'm out of town, I'm in, you know, a different area. My anxiety is up. I'm excited. I feel like I want to go explore, but I also want to read. It's cold outside, so like there's just a lot of things going through my mind. While I have all this time, you know, I feel like I don't have enough time, which is a constant struggle. And that's why I don't necessarily like 24-hour reading vlogs, because they put so much pressure on me unless I'm reading really digestible, manageable books like manga and true crime, maybe. So I'm trying to go easy on myself and not put so much pressure on myself, but it's definitely difficult when you're a overachiever and it's hard for you not to, you know, overperform. But anyway, it's 3 o'clock. I want to do an hour reading sprint just to bang out some more pages, and then I think I will go explore a little bit like go down to the boardwalk and go see the ocean and just kind of walk around and get that out of the way, and probably just hang out at the hotel for the rest of the night until George is done with his work stuff. I am definitely aware of being alone, a lone female, and that's a very vulnerable thing to be when you're traveling and you're in a tourist town. And I've already encountered questionable experiences where I definitely don't feel safe, like 100% safe. Right now, like being in the hotel, I feel completely fine. You know, being kind of in this bubble, I feel safe, but it was more so when I was walking to the bookstore and just being alone, you're vulnerable. So I am very aware of my surroundings, making sure I am not putting myself in weird situations as much as I can. And yeah, so let's do some reading for an hour. I'm also gonna watch. My camera died. Good thing I have another battery, but I was going to say I'm gonna play a read with me video by Morgan Long in the background. She actually had a beach one that like a 30-minute beach one that I played before while I was eating lunch. So I think I'm gonna actually play that one again for the beach vibes. And do some reading, and I'm gonna set my timer starting now. A little after 5:30. I feel like I've been reading for over 3 hours this afternoon, and I've made it to the halfway mark, just about nearly halfway, and going to take a break and do a little adventure. I'm gonna go to the boardwalk and just walk around, and I think try and find dinner. I really want sushi. There's a sushi place nearby, so I'm hoping that works out, but if not, there's plenty of other food places. Yeah, and then when the sun starts going down, I will be coming back here and not being outside because this book, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's engaging me. I've felt, at least I got to a point where I was in flow and I was getting lost in the story, and that was what I was really hoping for, like having my mind everywhere and unable to focus. So I'm enthralled in the story. It's a major whodunit, and I really love how there's two POVs like jumping back with the time jump. So at this point, I just want to know what happens, and I think I've read like half the book within 3 hours, I would say. So this is probably like a 6-hour read, so definitely on track to finish this, pending how the evening goes with everything else. But yeah. All right, I'm off to explore. I put on some boots. Let's go. I got my sushi to go in my cute little container. Yay! Back at my hotel where I'm probably going to stay for the rest of the evening, which I'm completely okay with. Time to get in pajamas, have a nice little shower, romanticize my romantic trip. It's already romantic because it's not at home, right? But I think I'm gonna read some more Sundown Motel, see how far I get with that, and then I need to do some video editing, and that's kind of the evening. Shower, reading, editing, and then I think George should get back here by 9, 10, so we'll probably just hang out here, and then we check out tomorrow. It is 12:30 and I've been reading and I'm like 20 pages away from the ending and I am like in shock at what just happened. Like the build up, the twist. Oh my gosh. Also, George is still not back yet. So I'm just having my own party. Okay, on track to finish this book tonight. I will probably stay up to finish the next 20 pages because I'm already this far. Wow. Good morning, friends. We're about to head out, check out the hotel. I started reading some of Spy Family just to at least get it going, and of course not going to finish this since we're hitting the road. And 12:30 is our at least end time for this vlog, and it's currently like 10:30 and we're on the road for 2 hours. But it's okay that we only read one book because this book just took me for a ride and fully immersed me in the story and had me shocked at the end. So I definitely recommend this. It's like a mystery whodunit, and I don't want to say other things because it might give away, but if you like mystery and just need something that you want to read in a weekend or even a day, like I think this took me like 6.5 hours total reading time, so it's definitely doable in a day if you kind of have, you know, the day to yourself, or a week if you're only able to kind of, you know, do a few pages here and there each day. But highly recommend. 4 out of 5 stars. I think if I finish my Spy X Family book today, like it's the end, it's literally the last day of March, like I will definitely have gotten 4 books read this month, and I wasn't even expecting to finish my reading goal because I've been reading long books and like in a funk with reading. So this got me kind of up to speed, but I'm like 3 books over my like annual goal anyway, which is like a really good feeling. Again, I set a very low for me book goal for the whole year, so I didn't want any pressure on myself with reading this year, and it feels good. It feels good. So yeah, so thank you for coming along for this fun little 24-hour reading vlog trip to Atlantic City. I hope it was fun for you guys. It was definitely fun for me, and it's time to go home. So I will see you in the next video. Bye!